Welcome back, guys, to the third game of Power Rangers versus Cloud9. Cloud9 took game one pretty easily, but Power Rangers able to fight their way back. Sorry, I'm a little tired. But, guys, I'm looking at this draft. We're already pretty underway, so we're just going to get into it. I'm going to do my spiel real quick, where you should definitely go check out facebook.com/D2CL, where they're going to be giving away some Arcanas. So they're going to ask a question in their Facebook chat, and all you have to do is answer it, put your Steam information in there, and you can actually go ahead and we win some free Arcanas. It's both the Legion Commander and the Terrorblade Arcanas are the ones they're giving away. Really, really cool stuff. On top of that, guys, be sure to also check us out over there on Twitter. Thanks to Dota 2 Lounge, we're going to be giving away rares after the broadcast over on our Twitters at Ayesee, at Dota Capitalist, and of course at Nahaz Dota, who's going to be our stats man. You already see the draft underway, so I can go ahead and welcome in my co-caster. Ayesee is going to be doing the play-by-play for this game.
Yep, moving ahead to the draft. And again, thank you so much for having me. And thanks to our viewers for joining us here today. It's been a surprising series, really. I mean, Cloud9, a fairly heavy favorite coming into this, but I would say not quite as favorited after PR's performance yesterday against Na'Vi. And going right back to what works for them, getting the Vengeful. Well, that's actually a lie, because they ran the Ancient Apparition Vengeful Spirit in game one. Did not pan out for them. Nyx Assassin, though, was their lead pick, with the Invoker and Lifestealer being picked up by C9. And yeah, I mean, game two, PR showed us just how well they can manage a map and how well they can outmaneuver you. If you give them any kind of an opening, they're going to capitalize. And what it really came down to was Bone 7 in particular struggling out of the mid position, playing on the axe. Really just wasn't that big of an influence outside of a couple of big plays. And I really like what Cloud9's already doing, though. Having the Invoker, usually you see an Invoker, you think mid, but instead getting the puck as a Lifestealer bomb tool. They could end up running the puck in something like an off-lane. That was something we saw quite a long time ago. He was very commonly run as an off-lane hero, or off-lane Invokers actually becoming a little bit more common, depending on how you feel about the lanes and what you think you're going to match up against. If you can get him in a one-on-one and then in anticipation a Power Rangers running another aggressive tri-lane, that's optimal. Then you have a puck solo, an Invoker solo, then you have a defensive tri-lane predicated around a Lifestealer, which is an excellent hero at dealing with aggression.
Yeah, Power Rangers apparently going back to whatever works, which is the Vengeful Spirit Ancient Apparition combo, which has been very, very decent, but I'm interested to see how Cloud9 are going to be able to fight up against it this time around, because this time they have a little bit more established lanes. It looks like they're going to be running a defensive tri-lane up against that. They can try and dodge it, but I kind of want to see a traditional tri-lane up against the Ancient Apparition Vengeful Spirit. I haven't really seen too many teams just try and fight it with regular old, just a double nuke support combo, any sort of decently aggressive carry like Lifestealer, like a Gyrocopter, something like that can actually turn and fight. I want to see how this fares under, because right now, every single time I watch Power Rangers do it, they're kind of left to run the tri-lane by themselves, whether they are left up against only one or two heroes, some sort of dual lanes, or they have such a passive tri-lane that they're going up against that they're just able to determine when they jump in. As it stands right now, I have yet to see an equally aggressive tri-lane being run up against the Power Rangers. So that's what I kind of want to see from Cloud9 right now, and they could do it. I mean, the Bone 7 puck off lane is an option here, being run one-on-one against whatever hero that Power Rangers leave in their safe lane. Probably going to be Nyx Assassin. That's going to be fine for Puck. And then Invoker in the middle lane. Quaswex Invoker, an option here, being able to set up some good, I mean, they've got such good initiation here with the puck, the Nyx bomb that's going to be able to come out of that, and then the Tornado EMP. Cloud9 have so many different ways to be able to intercept the aggression coming out from Power Rangers. And my God, did these teams like make a bet beforehand, like they get an extra $100 if they can win with Witch Doctor? Witch Doctor being picked up once again, successful in game one. Not so much in game two. Wait, I'm completely messed around. Witch Doctor's failed, lost 2 games in a row. Yeah. I'm all twisted around right now. I got too many games running in my head.
I'm a little baffled by it. It's such a thin lineup. I'll tell you what I would love to see out of Cloud9 right now would be a Shadow Shaman pick. Seeing a Rasta pick up at this moment, just to basically build on what you were talking about. An equally aggressive support. Shadow Shaman, I'm honestly still shocked that he's not picked more often at the professional level. Since his buff to the Serpent Wards, he is just a monster in the first 10 to 15 minutes, especially if you can get him at quick level 6. Even if not, the amount of lockdown he brings you between Shackles and Hex is massive. And depending on how you want to build him out skill-wise, Ether Shock's a pretty damn good nuke early on, especially against a team like PR has put together right now, a very squishy team for the most part. And having that extra lockdown to try and account for the Nyx Assassin would be great. And would allow them to take a lot of towers as well. Not to mention they already have the initiation and reach of the Invoker, the Puck, and the Lifestealer. But instead, it's going to be a Wind Ranger pickup. And I'm a little curious as to how they're going to end up laning this out now. I mean, it seemed kind of evident that they were just anticipating an aggressive tri-lane out of PR. They were going to try to isolate the Invoker in a solo off-lane situation maybe, and then the Puck in mid. But now, I mean, lane support Wind Ranger is not completely unheard of. I mean, you see it from time to time. But what they're going to end up putting with it is of particular interest to me. Again, a Shadow Shaman could work there, being able to hex the setup, the Wind Ranger Shackles, and then save Shadow Shaman Shackles for the tail end of the fight. I don't know. I mean, their options are wide open to them. I definitely feel like Cloud9, with the immense amount of magic burst that they've already got put together, a fairly good balance of physical damage between magic damage. Invoker and Lifestealer are good at physical damage. Puck with Waning Rift and his orb. Wind Ranger with Power Shot. If it gets maxed out early, that's a nice amount of magic to balance that out. I feel like this is a very solid draft from C9, and PR are going to be really, really hard-pressed to execute this lineup against what they see so far.
You know, I'm kind of shaking my head here right now because Power Rangers, it all comes back down to the Witch Doctor, man. But Power Rangers have dealt with Lifestealer tri-lanes before. I've watched them do it, and it's very, very strong if you have a strong initiating stun. What they ran was Earthshaker, right? Leading with the Fisher to be able to land the stun on Lifestealer sort of instantly. It can come at a moment's notice. He's not going to be able to rage to stop that. Then follow up with a Vengeful Spirit Magic Missile to kind of get him chain stun. And then from there, they just auto-attack him down. Even once he does pop that rage, it's already too late. He's copped so much magic damage that auto-attack should be enough. But Witch Doctor here, that lob of a cask is way too slow. That I really don't see. They will still be able to. That's the one thing, is that this tri-lane is actually pretty good versus Lifestealer because of the fact that they have just their sort of flat damage that is really, really good. Vengeful Spirit doesn't have the same mobility as Weaver, but he has the same kind of stats in that he's a squishy hero that is actually able to output a large amount of physical damage fairly early on that can contest Lifestealer if you just get a little bit of control over him. And that's what they really needed. If they had the Earthshaker here, all aboard on the aggressive tri-lane. But now we have Wind Ranger, who with that Wind Run will be able to do decently well against this aggressive tri-lane that relies so heavily on auto attacks. And now you pick up another support that does well, Crystal Maiden. That she may be very, very squishy and slow, and that sucks. But as long as you keep your distance, be able to throw down that Crystal Nova, slow down those already very, very slow auto attacks coming away from Power Rangers, I kind of like their chances in aggressive tri-lane. The biggest problem is going to be Lifestealer, and he's going to be constantly harassed by this 3-range tri-lane. If he's kind of low, they may not actually be able to get the opportunity to turn and get aggressive on Power Rangers, but that the two supports surrounding Lifestealer, very, very good up against the Power Rangers combo. And I also do like the Death Prophet last pick coming out. Power Rangers, knowing that they're running so aggressively, need to be able to have strong initiation or strong push, and Death Prophet gives you the perfect kind of push that you need.
Yeah, no, well, Death Prophet on top of everything else, whenever you talk about what she can contribute, she has her AoE silence, which is nice, and will be able to really have an effect on heroes like Invoker, Puck, Lifestealer. I mean, pretty much everyone on the side of C9 is pretty ability reliant. But the fact that Death Prophet's ultimate exorcism is physical damage. If you're able to get that focused on the Lifestealer, it's not going to matter whether he rages or not. So they have some nice, I don't know though. I mean, when I just look at PR's lineup, they have just so little room for error. If they get the Death Prophet behind at all, if they end up with a Vengeful Spirit in the same situation we saw him in last time, it's going to be huge, huge problems. It's actually going to be Cheshire Cat on the Nyx Assassin. So long as they execute, I mean, they certainly have as viable a lineup as anyone. C9 just has so many ways to fall back. I mean, Crystal Maiden can jungle up very well with AUI. Wind Ranger, she's excellent in pretty much any situation, especially in the early game. And the fact that they're going to be able to zone PR off with Power Shot in a lot of cases is going to be great for them. It's going to be Bone 7 playing on the Puck, so this looks to be an off-lane Puck perhaps. And I actually particularly like an off-lane puck in most cases. But I don't know. I really like C9's draft. PR, I'm all for showing creativity and drafting and everything else, but this just feels so very, very paper thin.
Yeah, this could go wrong in a moment's notice for Power Rangers, especially dealing with the fact that they're very, very aggressive, right? And they want to be able to run some push off of this. But Cloud9 have a really, really good defensive lineup. They have a lot of initiation, which is important dealing with any sort of push lineup. You need to be able to have some sort of strong initiations to be able to jump in and find yourself with those good disables to be able to hold up and maybe even pop heroes like the Death Prophet, like the Vengeful Spirit. However, they've also got the Tornado EMP, which is just a classic sort of turtling mechanism that is able to constantly spam out, and immediately you start going for that tier 1 tower, but all of a sudden you have no mana. How do you push in? How are you ready for combat if you don't have that mana? So I think that with Cloud9's combination of initiation and slight bit of turtling, I think they should be just fine going up against Power Rangers and their push lineup. The question is, it all comes down to lanes, and it so often does with Power Rangers. Whether or not this aggressive tri-lane is actually successful versus the Lifestealer, and they get an early advantage and turn this Vengeful Spirit into something more than just a regular old auto attacker. She really needs to have a Yasha and a BKB before you can consider her a physical damage carry.
Waiting to see if we're going to get this match back underway. It looks like the network might be down and not wanting to wind up in a situation again where there's no Dota TV coverage for the match. Looks like a pause is going to be the order of the day, at least for now. While I have a minute, do want to once again thank you personally, my friend, as well as Toby and the rest of the Join Dota team for allowing me to come on and pinch hit for Toby, not just because he is sick today, but just because of other obligations he's had throughout these first few weeks of the D2CL. Thank you very much for that opportunity. It's been a pleasure so far. And, of course, make sure you guys go and tweet your best wishes to Toby Wan. Guy's feeling a little bit under the weather and has been feeling kind of sick for a day or two, but you know, it's a guy like him. He really wants to take a day off, really loves what he does and does an excellent job at it. And I'm sure he would appreciate hearing from you guys saying, hey, just get well. So if you got a minute, you got a Twitter, make sure you go say hi to the guy and tell him, give him some virtual chicken soup, if you will. Give him a nice little tweet. Let him know. We all miss him. We look forward to him being well again so we can hear him cast.
Yeah, we basically planned so many tournaments that we can't afford to be sick, you know? So Toby going down like that, a little unfortunate. But today's schedule actually worked out perfectly. That we couldn't do it yesterday. All right, looks like we're going to have a remake. As apparently we're not up in Dota TV thanks to the network going down at the same time as we started. A little bit of an issue that now we're going to just fix up with a real quick remake. So we're actually going to go to the cut screen real quick, and we'll be back with Game 3 of Cloud9 versus Power Rangers.